Hey everyone, welcome. Today I'm going to show you a little bit more about the servers I showed you in some of the previous videos. But first, I have an announcement to make. Unripper, my Unraid server, is no more. It's gone. Okay, well, not exactly gone. It's right behind me in my workstation PC, where it actually belongs. So the gaming I got going on with my Unraid server, a little bit of couch gaming, GTA, racing games, all the kind of stuff, yeah, was working pretty good, but only to that extent, because some serious gaming like shooters, well, yeah, it was a bit choppy, I guess. So that was not, it was a good experience, but not a great experience. I wanted to test some things out and I installed the GTX 1070 Ti in my PC, and to my surprise I noticed that the frame rate was almost the double as what I was getting with my Unraid server. So yeah, I figured that it might have something to do with the RAM. I did a video about that as well in the past, on 2133 MHz RAM JEDEC speeds and 3200 MHz RAM, the Dominator RAM and also the ECC RAM overclocked. And yeah, that gave a little bit of improvement, but not double the improvement. So now I had my Unraid server without a graphics card, basically no gaming VM. So I thought, well, if I just want to use this server as it was intended to be used, as a file server with some virtual machines and some Dockers, I have a bit of a problem when I want to expand it with some additional drives, because I had the Icy-dock Black Vortex, which can house 4 hard drives. I had a small mobile rack from Icy-dock as well, right below that, and that one could house 2 SSDs. I had 3 SSDs on my X399 Tai Chi motherboard from ASRock, NVMe drives, SATA drives, so okay. And I had some 3.5-inch slots empty in the Shenbro server case itself. But that isn't ideal, of course. If you want to upgrade your hard drive or you want to swap them out, you have to take the whole chassis apart. So everything was really tight in that case. I almost broke my Icy-dock Black Vortex, so that was not a success. So I figured, well, what if I buy another server? Yeah. So this is what I bought. And it is heavy. Yeah, you can see it. This is what I bought. This is a DL380 Gen 8 from HP. It's a 2U rack server, and it has a 12 LFF front base, and it's also heavy. 2 in the back as well. It has 2 750 watt power supplies, a RAID controller. We'll have a look inside in case in a moment. It has a RAID controller, the P420i, in HBA mode, and 2 CPUs as well. 2 Xeons, 2450L, so 8 cores, 16 thread each. That puts me on 16 cores, 32 threads. And I have installed 64 GB of ECC DDR3 RAM, smart memory from HP. And yeah, I'm quite happy with this decision. It has one drawback, and that's the noise level. These fans in this server are from Delta. So Delta fans, and these are 12 volt 3.3 amps. So there are 6 of these in this server, and they make quite a lot of noise. Now I have installed this server in the pantry, in the server rack, but even with the door of the pantry closed, I can hear it in the hallway. And if I have the door to the living room open, I can hear it in the living room as well. So yeah, it makes quite a lot of noise. But look at this. This is really nice. We have enough space for hard drives. We have a RAID controller that it's just a fancy SATA controller. with also a battery. Yeah, it's not being used. No, it's just an HBA controller now. So the only thing it has to do is pass through the hard drives and we can pick it up on our Unraid server. We have plenty of upgrade room left. Can you see this? I will do this with my phone. So we have a total of 12 RAM slots, on which 4 are occupied at the moment. We have 2 CPUs. As I mentioned, these are 8-core 16-thread each, but these are the 2450L. So they do consume way less power than the higher tiered CPUs. So these are 60 watt each, if I'm not mistaken. I can upgrade them to faster ones, but they will consume more power as well. So yeah, as I mentioned, we have the power supplies and yeah, 750 watt each. So I have installed ILO Advanced, so I can do everything I want with ILO. And I also did a power draw test. So with all these drive bays occupied, 10 hard drives, 2 SSDs, 2 CPUs, the RAM, etc. and all these fans spinning, it idles with 1 VM on and all the Dockers running on around 160 watt. That's actually less than what my Unripper was consuming. And that only has 1 CPU. But it's not completely fair. That one had the GPU as well, but that one wasn't utilized when I did the power test. So yeah, with the power consumption I am quite happy. Now I can replace these fans maybe for some other ones that will consume less power, because these are very power hungry. But for now, no, I don't see the need to. As for the noise level, let's do a test for that. It's getting ready. There it goes. I will get the USB stick out so it can't boot Unraid. We'll just let it do its post. Yeah, you don't want this in the bedroom. You will never sleep again. Of course, with the lid closed, it is quieter, but it will still make a lot of noise. Now I will just turn this off now. Yeah, I bought this server for 110 euros. So I thought, well, that's that cheap with the CPUs, the two 750 watt PSUs, but no RAM. Okay, so I added the RAM. Yeah, I added these caddies. These caddies are actually these things with the nice LED indicators and such. Little bit of electronics in there. These caddies are actually quite expensive. HP charges around 30 to 40 euros for them. And I bought these, also new by the way, for I believe it was 13 euros each. Well, if you want 12 of them, yeah, then it gets quite expensive, quite fast. So that was for that. The fans were also already installed. It was included in the price of 110 euros. The rail kit wasn't, so I have a rail kit. It's behind. Yeah, there's the rail kit. Yes. So I have a rail kit as well, a brand new one, for my server rack. And I bought the whole server with the 4x16 gigabytes of RAM for around 400 euros. Yeah, drives excluded, of course. Now I have installed a couple of 3 terabyte drives just for testing to see if all these drives would actually be recognized. These drives, of course, are for testing. We will use them in the server that's behind there. The strange one, of which we do not know the brand of. Yeah, we'll get to that one in a bit. But I used 6 of those drives, and even these 6 drives are recognized. And here is one 8 terabyte, another 8 terabyte, a 3 terabyte, I think. Yeah, a 3 terabyte. This one has a 3 terabyte. Then we have the caching SSD here, and that one uses a bracket, and the one below that as well is using a bracket, and that's SSD for the simple virtual machines. So, but I can actually utilize all those slots. Now I don't know about the slots in the back. I didn't do research on those, so I don't know if I can utilize both of these slots as well, because then I would install maybe 2 SSDs here and 12 hard drives, for example 8 terabyte ones, in the front. That would give me, with 2 parity drives, 80 terabytes of storage. That would be enough. Yeah, definitely. So I will look into that, or if you know, please let us know in the comment section, because I haven't looked it up yet. Otherwise I will, of course. We also have some expansion base there. Yeah, this is the RAID controller in HBA mode, so the only thing it does now is just passing through the SATA drives. And below that we have another slot. Yeah, I'm not planning on installing a graphics card in this. Maybe, if it will work even, for Plex transcoding. Otherwise I don't see a need to, no. I will install this server now in the pantry again, in the server rack, power it up, and we'll pick it up from my computer, and I'll have some more things to explain when I was first installing this server. So the first time I was turning on my new server and started Unraid, I was prompted with this. Yeah, that didn't look good. As you can see, the disks were wrong, it said. Capacity were matching, so 3 terabytes with 3 terabytes, 8 terabyte was displayed as 8 terabyte. So the first thing I did, because I didn't want to lose any data, was to search on the forums and see what I could find. And some people were having the same problem when they swapped to another server. And they said, well, remove the current array, create a new config, assign the disks to the matching slots they were before, so in the correct order. And once that is done, check parity is valid before starting the new array. So I did that and just removed the drives, and I had a backup, so I was not afraid of losing any data, but I don't have a backup of all my music and videos at the moment. So yeah, it would be a bummer if that was gone, but luckily for me, it worked out just fine, and all my disks were recognized, the array was started, did a parity check, took about 18 hours, just like normal, and everything was good, and I was good to go. So that was 2 days ago, and I just want to get started with the server, so that's why I recorded it, and it's what you just saw in the video. So in the meantime, our new Unraid server is booted, and let's start the array. You can see all the 6 drives are still in, the drives from a friend of mine. These are the drives, as I mentioned before, that will be installed in that unknown server, and hopefully in a moment we can shed some light on that and it will come clear what kind of server we're dealing with, if it all is going to work even, because I really don't know. Now, as you can see, we don't have any temperature monitoring on our drives. Yeah, that's a shame, but yeah, you can't have everything. And with the fans installed, the 6 Delta ones, I don't think that temperature will be an issue for our server. No. So we're gonna start our array, and these 3 terabyte drives are from my old Synology NAS. These will go in the future, and they will be all 8 terabyte drives, or maybe even 12 terabyte drives. I don't know, depends on the price, I guess. Because if I want to upgrade it now with 10 more 8 terabyte drives, that would set me back for around 1,400 euros. Yeah, that's even with the external hard drives, not even the retail red drives, because those are insanely expensive. These are some prices here from some Dutch web shops, and yeah, you can see 230, 240 euros for an 8 terabyte red drive. And hard drives that are in those Western Digital MyBooks, are they MyBook drives? And the external drives, those are 8 terabyte Western Digital red drives, white labeled, and they work just fine. So you can buy a bunch of those, have some fill, and you will still be cheaper than when you buy these hard drives. So that's why I chose that path, and so far they are working fine for me. So that's that. our array is started, and as you can see, we still have our 14 terabytes. So one 8 terabyte parity, one 8 terabyte data member, and two 3 terabyte drives. And well, let's see, dashboard. This is the main page of our server, and you can see we have 16 cores and 32 threads. Yes, that will be more than enough for what I want to do with this server. My main VMs will be running on this. I have a couple of them on there. Same goes for the Dockers. Plenty of Dockers, not running, of course, now. We will start them in a bit. And the temperature, I fixed that, but the motherboard temperature is currently displayed at 8.3 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that's very cold or inaccurate. I think the last applies here. We also have the description of a server is not correct. No, it's not the Shambro case anymore, so this is just a text edit. And I will fill this in later, but we also have to come up with a new name now, because it isn't Unripper anymore for Unraid and Threadripper. Unripper, that was the idea. The Threadripper is in my main case now, so this will probably be something else on Discord. Some of them named them the Ungreat. Yeah, maybe that's the joke. It's an older server. Maybe it's not all that great, or maybe it is just great, and therefore it's Unraid and great, ungreat, whatever. If you have a great name for the server, please let us know in the comment section, and yeah, that will be fun. Yeah, come up with some good names and I will change it. We have 4 network cards on this motherboard, gigabit Ethernet cards. Of course, we can install 10 gigabit in this server. I don't think we're gonna hit that speed mark. And upgrading to a 10 gigabit network at this moment for just your home is quite expensive. And I rather put that money to some more server stuff and hard drives even. Yeah. So this is basically our Unraid server now. And all I have to say about my Unraid server. Happy with this. Let's move over to the unbranded server and see what server we're dealing with. It's a server from a friend of mine who asked me if I want to install all the hard drives for him and come up with a backup solution. So it will be a backup server for him. 16 times 3 terabytes. Yeah. And if you don't know what it looks like, $17 actually. One is literally a cold spare. So we have one spare drive. Then we have all green drives and 2 red drives. But it will still give you a decent amount of storage capacity with as many as these. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the server, and no. Well, we have a number on the front here, and well, we can just Google that. So this is quite interesting. If I do a Google search on the model number we found on the chassis, it doesn't come up with any results. So yeah, that's not going to help us. Something completely different. So after a bit of digging, I found out that this is actually a Supermicro case, and it is the SC836 chassis series. So glad we now at least know what type of case was used. So, we also have an SSD. Professionally installed, and this is our RAID controller right here. Yeah, that looks old, but and let's see, it's a AMCC, okay, 9650 SE 12/16 ml. Okay, the only question is, what is the max capacity of drive that this one supports? We'll have to do some research on that as well. Not quite sure if I want to download my firmware upgrade from Softpedia. But okay, if this is correct, it will add support for new 4 terabyte capacity hard drives. We have 3 terabyte hard drives, so I think we're good with that. We don't need the RAID capacity of this card. We just want to pass them through HBA, and we'll just pick them up with, for example, Open Media Vault, create a RAID set or software RAID set in that, and let it handle the RAID. Yeah. That will be something for the next video when we get started with this server. Then we can finish this one for my friend and he can actually start making backups of his data. Yeah, he will be happy, I'm sure. Now, before we wrap this up, in the previous video you also saw this server. This is a SA326M1, a Gen 6 server from HP. 25 drive base, SFF drive base with some SAS drives in it. 146 gigabyte SAS drives as well as 300 gigabyte SAS drives. One of the drives was faulty. I replaced that one, so now we have a working setup. I installed ESX 6.5 on this server because CPUs don't support a higher version than 6.5. And yeah, with that I haven't found a purpose for the server yet, because it does consume quite a lot of power. This one also has some high power fans. In combination with the 25 drives, 2 CPUs installed on this server as well, it does consume quite a lot of power. I believe this one is close to 300-350 watts when it's running, and that's not even on full load. So yeah, for normal operations it's too much for me. No, this is fun for a project server. So if we have some virtual machines, we can spread the loads, and for some videos maybe we can use this. We could use this server to install all kinds of NAS operating systems. I've been rambling about that topic for half a year now, maybe. And I wanted to get started with that on my Gen 8 micro server, but that one only has a quad-core CPU without hyperthreading and only 12 gigabytes of RAM. So this has more than enough capacity for the purpose we want to use it for. Yeah, maybe that would be a good idea. The same goes for our Super Micro server. You also saw a couple of videos back. That one also has a dual CPU configuration. 64 gigabytes of RAM. It has, what the CPUs on that server are the 5690, 6-core 12-thread CPUs. So 12 threads, 12 cores, 24 threads in total. And that one has 4 SAS drives, 600 gigabyte each, and 1 SSD. That one also has ESXi 6.5 installed as the hypervisor. We can also use that server. Of course, we can also play with some backup configurations between these servers. That could be quite fun. We have lots of potential with these old servers, so yeah. And I got them for a steal, really. This one I traded with some computer components, and the other one I bought for the CPUs for the HP workstation, which I got working, by the way. The HP C800 workstation was powering off. I have got it to the stage of where I could successfully install Windows, and I can confirm that the problem is caused by the SAS backplane or by the SAS controller. If it's the SAS controller, well, of course we can install another SAS controller and that the problem would be gone. If it's the SAS backplane, maybe we can look for a spare part, but yeah, that's another project as well. We have lots of projects, I think. If you have some ideas about all these old servers and the workstation from HP, the C800, please let us know in the comment section and we can do some fun videos about that. And yeah, learn along the way with each other. With that being said, I will leave the video at this. If you have any comments, suggestions, maybe some advice, you can leave them down in the comment section as well. Thank you all for watching and see you in the next one. Bye!